Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills, our first game on Sunday. And it's a game. It's going to be played. So we'll go from there.
Super wild card weekend.
13.5 in favor of the Bills at home. 43.5 is our total. Steven, we kind of know what we're getting here. It is Skylar Thompson at quarterback for Miami in a playoff game against the Bills on the road. I mean, look, 7th round rookie. He's been fine when he's been in there. I mean, he hasn't completely, wet his pants every time he's been in there, but he's 60 of 105, which is 57%. He's thrown 1 touchdown and 3 picks. It's just, it's the spread's right. I mean, 13, it's right. Raheem Mostert broke his thumb, so now they don't have the little 2-headed monster anymore. It's just Jeff Wilson in the running back room there for the Dolphins. I am not going to run and lay the 13.5 with the Bills. That being said, because there is incentive for the Bills now that they didn't get the 1 seed and they do have to, get through the playoffs. There is incentive for Josh Allen, Steph Diggs, all of them to be on the sideline at some point in the fourth quarter. So that's why that's why I'm not playing it, but it would be lay it or pass for me for sure.
Tackle Teron Armstead, back-to-back DNPs again. Bradley Chubb, limited practice after a DNP. A bunch of guys on the injury report for Miami. It's not just their quarterback situation as well. That's how we have the biggest spread in NFL wildcard game history here. So for me to get involved, Matt, we've talked about it, some of these big spread games this year, going to have to get creative, right? So you shop around some of these same game parlay machines, you're going to find odds that are very different than other sportsbook same game parlay machines. And I found one that I think I like. On the 3-way money line markets for the first quarter and the first half, there's one out there that'll let you parlay the Bills first quarter 3-way money line with the Bills first half 3-way money line and get minus 124 on that in a game with a spread of 13.5. That number's minus 150 at most of the other books. So it's a popular one. Go find it. Minus 124 to parlay those two. That's my angle in this one. I think the Bills come out quick, come out firing, and this is just not much of a game right from the early going.
Adam, again, I know I hate that we have a game like this on the slate, right? I mean, where we're getting, a third string quarterback, but not the whole Purdy situation where he's got Shanahan and all these playmakers and all this stuff. It's just kind of like, McDaniel's been fine, but Skylar Thompson's just is what he is. I guess my question to you is 13.5 too much given the fact that there is at least some incentive for the Bills to hit the sideline here, right? I mean, they have one intention at this point, and that is to win the Super Bowl. And so I feel as if we have a coaching staff that's sharp enough to not have Josh Allen and Steph Diggs and all these guys out there taking unnecessary snaps. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess typically if the handicap is the starters need to not play and you need to get a backdoor cover, maybe that's not the best bet to be making then.
The second part of that matters, though. And we talk about this all the time about not playing starters anymore. When it's first stringers on the other side, that's fine. Then you can worry about the backdoor cover. It's Skylar Thompson.
Right.
And a banged up Tyreek Hill. Like, these are not the droids you're looking for. Like, this is not the situation. Like, this is not the situation where I worry about a backdoor cover, but I will say I'm much more inclined to look at the Miami team total, which is 14.5 in some spots, and just ask, short of a special teams or defensive score, how are we getting there? How is Skylar Thompson going to move the football in a playoff game? And Miami was absolutely fortunate to come out of that game with 9 points last week against the New York Jets. I don't see how that happens. I don't want to get involved with anything on the Buffalo side because of what you just said, because of the fact that the starters might not be in there anymore. I understand that. But I think the way that for me that plays out is that even the Buffalo twos against Skylar Thompson are probably going to be enough to hold this thing under the Miami team total.
Guys, one other angle here, and this one actually might make my account. It hasn't quite yet, but I don't think I'm going to miss any sort of number here. Josh Allen rush yards is at 50.5, right? in a game, you're 2 touchdown favorites. And I know Josh Allen is going to play Josh Allen football, and we're going to get some scrambles and things like that. But like, are they calling a bunch of design quarterback runs like in a game like this? It just seems unnecessary. It doesn't seem smart. I mean, are we really getting 10 Josh Allen carries in this game, 12 Josh Allen carries in this game? Because that's what you need to feel comfortable betting an over on a 50.5 rushing total for a quarterback. And if we factor in that maybe there are at least 2 series he doesn't play in the fourth quarter, and if we factor in if they're up big in the third, maybe they're not passing, right? It's just a traditional turnaround handoff to Cook and Singletary, all the stuff like that. I don't know. 50.5 seems high for me for Josh Allen. Does that make sense as I kind of talk that through?
Yeah, he's only gone over that number twice out of his last 7 games to begin with, and now it's probably a blowout game. So yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of conservative play calling in the second half of this one. One angle, I think, a couple of props that Jeffrey over at the site wrote up for this one. Gabe Davis under 49.5 receiving yards. He's only hit 50 receiving yards once in his last 6 games. It's like the fantasy community has waited and waited and waited for Gabe Davis to be a thing. It just hasn't become a thing this year. And related to that, and I don't know, maybe it's the elbow injury from Josh Allen. They've been a little more conservative, not throwing as deep. Maybe it's the 2 high safety looks they've been getting. But Dawson Knox over 32.5 receiving yards. He's averaging 47.5 receiving yards over like the last month and a half here. And against the Dolphins, who have allowed the 3rd most receptions to tight ends this season, he had 98 receiving yards, did Knox, in week 15 against Miami. So I think those also kind of fall in line with what you're talking about, Matt, with Josh Allen being a little bit less aggressive on the ground.
Adam, if I give you $100 American just out of the kindness of my heart, and I had said you have to play one of the 4 traditional bets here. You're either playing the Bills and Dolphins at 13.5 or the over or the under of 43.5. Which do you feel of those 4 you would put that free $100 on?
The free $100 would be most comfortable to me laying it with the Bills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same with me. I know it's crazy to say at 13.5, but it's the same with me. If I had to play this straight up, if I had to, I think I'd lay it. I really do. I think I would lay it.
This to me feels like the Chiefs-Steelers playoff game from last year, where you had a completely flawed quarterback and offense against what might be a juggernaut of an offense.